Well, Saints, this year has been different. 2020 was the year that our worship went digital. 2020 was the year our pastors became televangelists. 2020 was the year our Sunday school teachers turned into internet stars. This year has taught us a lot. It's taught us creativity and patience and flexibility. It's taught us new hygiene habits and new tech savvy. Most of all, I think this year has taught us to appreciate the little things. Why don't we take a walk together and talk about this past year? At the beginning of the year, we said goodbye to our music director, Danny Moore, but we welcomed Joy Siddons into the dual role of choir director and organist. Joy adapted wonderfully, not just to the new position, but to all the challenges of music leadership in 2020. When COVID-19 hit, it disrupted our Lent and Easter plans and traditional choir offerings, but we made a successful transition to outdoor worship and special soloists and small groups. Those who couldn't come to worship in person stayed connected at home as we began recording and posting services online, with lots of audiovisual support from our awesome sound crew. In mid-July, the newly refurbished 3-octave set of handbells became a new active choir of 11 players, including youth and new visitors who have practiced together weekly. The bell choir has been a fantastic addition to our traditional worship with preludes and offertories and a special Christmas presentation. The St. Andrew tradition of the celebration of the Incarnation took place once again this year with Fran Conklin's beautiful, but sadly this time inedible, Christ cake, and 11 vocalists presenting a service of lessons and carols. This inspiring service included instrumental accompaniment by organ, string quartet, flute, and percussion. Masks and social distance made the rehearsals and presentation different, to say the least, but Joy, the vocalists, and musicians were all committed to leading worship for this special occasion. Rally Sunday and Christmas Eve were something new as well. We held them as drive-in services, with members tuning in from their car radios as we broadcast in the parking lot. It was such a joy for us to gather together and be able to see church family we had not seen in months. The Rally Day service was festive with games and lawn chairs and our children waving colorful ribbons in the air. Weather at the Christmas Eve service was not quite as friendly, but it was a special evening nevertheless, with candles and carols and plenty of good cheer. Pastor Jim's retirement in October was another big event for St. Andrew this year. The fellowship committee put together a parade through the church parking lot for everyone to come through and show their appreciation. Jim's interim leadership for the past 2 years has been a blessing, and we definitely wanted him to know it. Jim and Terry thoroughly enjoyed the event and the friendships they made here, and wanted us to know they continue to worship with us online from Stephen City. Our pastor nominating committee has kept on working hard, has interviewed several candidates, but has not yet found the one that God is calling to this church as head of staff. On the preschool side of things, our longtime director Aaron Kane decided to step back after the initial COVID shutdown and focus on homeschooling for the year. Aaron and the preschool board worked hard to restructure the program for new health and safety standards, and school reopened in the fall with Tasha Coleman as acting director. Students and families have gotten used to new routines and limited interaction outside their own classrooms, but they are still learning and growing and glad to be here. We have full enrollment at the preschool once again. Our youth program has had to adapt this year too. Before the pandemic, we celebrated a terrific Youth Sunday where our youth taught us about God's faithfulness as our anchor through every storm. Gosh, that turned out to be more relevant than we could have imagined. As we had to put a hold on in-person activities in the spring, we tried out some online meetings and games together. Over the summer, we were glad to hire one of our own former youth, Joseph Carroll, as an intern. Youth have continued to enjoy fellowship with each other through Taco Tuesdays and movie nights, online games, and making plans for the coming year. While they missed out on summer retreats and mission trips in 2020, they are hopeful for a return in 21. Thinking about Christian education more broadly, this year has been a time to experiment. Sunday school did not meet in person for most of the year, but several weekly Bible studies developed online. Adult groups have studied the book of Hebrews and the Gospels of John and Matthew. The pastors began a new midweek devotional series for all the saints that can be accessed through our church website. Our children continue to hear God's word for Jesus' young disciples every Sunday through YouTube and Facebook. But perhaps the highlight of the year has been our families and Sunday school teachers recording family home discipleship lessons each week, sometimes with costumes, to share with the rest of the church. These lessons include Bible stories, games, crafts, activities, and discussion to help families grow in faith. What a great way to stay in touch with each other and learn about God. Throughout the year, we also served God through serving others in our community. Although we couldn't do some of the usual projects, the service committee did a great job leading us in COVID-friendly charity work and keeping us involved. We collected food and packed boxes for holiday meals. We supplied Christmas presents to families in need. We donated warm weather clothing through the Blizzard Blitz. And we contributed to the Apostles' build of a Habitat for Humanity house along with other Lynchburg area churches and ministries. In addition, we dispersed over $50,000 in benevolences to local and international partners in ministry. This is in part due to your excellent and faithful stewardship this year, leaving us with a $36,000 budget surplus. Saints, 2020 has definitely been different. The global pandemic put many of our regular programs and activities on hold in 2020. But St. Andrew continued to find ways to glorify God and make disciples. Thanks be to the Spirit that has kept on working through you. And may God bless our continued ministry in the coming year.